Morning. This is the third take on this video because the first one I ran over time. And the second one I'm trying to explain something, but I'm trying to explain it and trying to rationalise it and trying to explain it in a way that you'll possibly understand it. In other words, I'm trying to sound sane but tell you something completely insane. But I don't think I'm going to bother trying to rationalise it. I'm just going to tell you something and let those who understand and fuck the rest of you. You can think what you like. But all day yesterday I spent trying to, because Marcus Aurelius, he said in meditations, and a lot of people don't understand this. Number one, he talked about running with the stars, and then he said, meditate often on the interconnectivity of everything, because everything is interconnected. Everything is interconnected. Everything is energy, and this is very hard for most people to comprehend, that everything is energy, everything is atoms. So this is a binary. This is matter and antimatter. This is a binary opposite, matter and energy. But everything is ultimately energy, E equals mc squared. So then once you realise this, you realise that everything can be anything and everything is in a constant state of flux. But when you realise that everything is energy, and this is like maybe a simulation of sorts, if you want to comprehend it that way, but at the same time it's a simulation that we don't know the source of where it's controlled from, but yet we have a concept for it. But we know that it's a binary opposite. You know that it's a two-player game at the minimum, and then that can extend again into a three-player game, six-player game, nine-player game. But anyway, I've been through all this. But I wanted to just tell you what I've been thinking about all day yesterday, which is the significance of the ring in the nose. And yesterday, I this is what I thought about all day yesterday: the significance of the ring in the nose, because everything's a reason, and there keeps rocking up here beautiful girls with very, very intelligent rings in their nose, and I couldn't work out the ring in the nose until the other day, when I ended yesterday's podcast talking about the ring in the nose. But I said to one of them, "Do you know who they are?" And she said to me, "Yeah, I'm Satan." And I said, "Well, we're off to a good start. So am I." Because I often said before, I'm the devil. In the early podcast I said I am the devil. I'm a child of Minerva. But to understand this, you need to seek to understand, or you can just apply the parameters of your cognition to it and say I'm insane, and I'm perfectly fine with that, and perfectly okay with that. Or you can seek to understand. But this involves you having to open up the windows of your cognition, wipe the windows of your cognition. So I said to her, "You're Satan." That was the first thing. Now, I often make an analogy to a vampire. Lilith would have been the first she-demon. She would have been the first she-demon. Lilith would. And then Mr. Nature said to me here before that the first animal created was a cow. I said, the first animal created was a cow. And I said to myself, but what happened to the evolution up from the fish and all the rest? And I said to myself, yeah, but maybe that's just not the case at all. Maybe Darwin's fucking wrong, and Peterson has talking out of his arse as well. Because I said to myself, the first animal created was a cow. Because don't forget that this is, if you like, the very same maybe as Minecraft. Did any of you ever play Minecraft? Now, I never played Minecraft, but the child that was one child that was in my life yeah, she used to play Minecraft. And that's very like life. This, because nature's a series of recurrent patterns. So then, if we go into my philosophy of or if you ever saw the Aliens philosophy and art, but I'm not going to digress on this. But if you look at Blade Runner, I can talk about this again in another podcast. I'll talk about Blade Runner and the philosophy of art. But this is Minecraft, and this is the start of this, where she's actually starting to create her own universe. She said, "Oh, pigs here and cows here and sheep here, and I'm going to put some trees here, and I'm going to build a farm here." And this is the start of nature being a recurring pattern, and possibly like this is what aliens do with us, that this is simulation and they're playing Minecraft. You know, I'm going to put like, or The Sims is another example of how this is, and very possibly is, a simulation. Now Joe Rogan will tell you the same, that this is a simulation. Elon Musk will tell you the same, that this is a simulation. So then once you understand that everything is energy, everything is atoms, and understand that everything is anything, then you can start to understand that nature is comprised of binary opposites, and that we are nature personified. Now, I realised this a long time ago, that we are nature personified. I said this a long time ago, that we are the culmination of nature personified. Even if you come up through reincarnation and come up from the fishes and everything else, we are the culmination of an evolutionary process, of which we are definitely not at the top in a hierarchical system, of which we are definitely not at the top, because we go beyond this again if you go into the interconnectivity of everything. And then you start to open your mind. But you say that we are nature personified, and then you look for the characteristics of nature in other people, the characteristics, because you'll see the characteristics of nature throughout humanity. And this is why, if you see the oldest people, like the boys up in the Himalayas and all, the Tibetan monks, they have fierce respect for life. Like one film I was watching, when they were digging the foundation to build a building, they had to take out all the worms and keep the worms safe, because this is life. They have respect for all life. They have respect for all life, with the understanding that this is us. We are one with everything. We are one with everything. Now, I'd be of an opposite thinking. I say all nature cannibalizes itself. So, but this is, as I say, I am the devil. Now, they are not the devil. They're a complete binary opposite of me. They're respect for all life. Respect for all life. They are the good. They are the good. And I'm of the thinking, like, the worst thing I could be is too good. I no problem dishing out the suffering. Like, I have no problem dishing out the suffering. But with reason, like, you know, as I say, evil can be used for virtue, and this is true. Evil is for virtue, but this is, as I say about Nietzsche, I wish them suffering. Suffering is a very important part of life. As Aristotle said, there's no learning without pain. There's no learning without pain, and that's why when I try to teach philosophy here, sometimes I try to shield people from the suffering, which calls them to utilize this philosophy and start to learn this philosophy and start to use this philosophy practical. It's not just for mental masturbation, it's for practical application, or it's fucking useless to you. But awful lot simultaneously, at the same time as I teaching it, they're given the opportunity to practice this philosophy. But whether they do or not, that's outside my control, and that's down to them. But this then is, you know, this then comes down to, like, you know, your attitude towards the way things. You've been given a philosophy, and the practical application of it, I'm afraid, is up to you. But anyway, I'm going to tell you a story, because as I was saying, I was thinking yesterday about the ring in the nose. So then Mr. Nature said to me, and I said, Mr. Nature now is more advanced than me. He is he's a much older soul, but he's a much older soul, like, yeah, but at the same time, I teach him now. We're now at the stage, I teach him and he teaches me, but so we teach each other. Like, we could sit here and talk last night. Before, he used to give me a pain in my head trying to process what he's saying. It was so mentally taxing. So mentally taxing for me, but I put the effort in, and now we can have a full conversation here at night, and it's I don't have to think about it at all. It's nearly like a direct translation, but we can talk in songs, we can talk in hysterically, that's the way to put it, and it'd be like reading Hegel, but it's in person, you know. Anyway, I want to tell you this story. So he said to me, you know, that Lilith was a cow. The first animal created was a cow. That was the first animal created was a cow. And I had to subject this to reason, and I said to myself, yeah, think about this. And then I said, the Hindus Now, the Hare Krishnas are the oldest people. They're the oldest. The Bhagavad Gita is 5,000 years old, and it has not been bastardized. Now, this will explain life, but only if you're able to interpret it in a certain way. And this, again, depends on the parameters of recognition. But the Bhagavad Gita is 5,000 years old, and it has not been bastardized. The Bible has. The Bible has been bastardized a number of times. People are subjected to their interpretation and rewrite. Like the King James Bible is very far removed from the original scripts. Anyway, like even the Gospel of St. John has been bastardized. It says, in the beginning was the Logos, and the Logos was God, and God was the Logos. But then they changed it to the Word. But anyway, everything with reason. But anyway, he said to me that the first animal was a cow. Now the Hindus, in the Hindus and in India, the cow is sacred. The cow is sacred. Now the cow is sacred for a reason. And I said to myself, yeah, you're right. The cow is sacred. Yeah, the cow is sacred. And the cow is also sacred in Africa. Voodoo people. And people think they're so civilized and so more civilized than the Aborigines and the voodoo people, the Africans. But they're not. They're not. The parameters of cognition is closed with all this material shit and this life that they've created, the meaning that they've given to life. When these people who are really, really, the voodoo people, the African people doing the voodoo magic, and people have no understanding of this voodoo magic and voodoo people, and then again, like if you ever hear Alan Watts talking, he used to talk about the people who used to be able to just take the cigarette out of their sleeve. Would you like a cigarette? And they just take a cigarette out of their sleeve and hand them the cigarette. And this is with the understanding that the possibilities and probabilities are endless. But anyway, I want to talk about the ring in the nose before I run out of time. So he said to me that Lilith was a cow. Now, when the little one was here, she used to show me BoJack Horseman, and I said, "Was BoJack Horseman? Yeah, this is all very similar." And I said, "But BoJack and the horse are one and the same." And then I got my tarot card reading from another really, really old soul. He had dreadlocks and everything in Worldwide Hostel in Croatia, I think it was, but fantastic hostel. But he had dreadlocks and everything else, and he used to travel the earth the very same as me. And he gave me a tarot card reading. Now this is a genuine tarot reading, genuine, because there's lots of bullshit artists and lots of people who just decide to take up this tarot card reading as bullshit, but they're not really, they're frauds. But this was a real genuine, and he said, "You're animal, you're a horse, and I couldn't make sense of this. And I said, I'm a horse. And I said to myself, I didn't think I was a horse. Because I said to myself I would have been more a bulldog, and there's a reason for this. I'll explain in another podcast. But then she showed me BoJack Horseman, and then the whole thing started to click into place. When you think about the interconnectivity of everything, I remember back to the tarot card reading, and he said, "You're a horse." And then I looked at the picture of Marcus Aurelius sitting on the horse, and I said, "I'm possibly a horse." I said, "I am possibly a horse, because the higher and lower animal is one and the same. Because the soul being the higher animal and me being the lower animal, BoJack Horseman, because I do like, if you look at BoJack Horseman, I do like to drink, and I do like to take drugs, and I do like to party. And this is the lower animal. But it's my life too, as my soul said to me, it's your life too, and I want you to enjoy it. But this is similar to BoJack. BoJack is really good and everything else, and then the horse likes to take drugs and drink and everything else. But they're one and the same. But anyway, this is BoJack Horseman. And then, so now we're starting to think about the interconnectivity of everything. Then he said to me that the first animal created was a cow. And then I said to myself, yeah. And then I was sitting here the other day, and I remember reading the Greek mythology, because I used to read a lot of Greek mythology. This is great for opening the windows of your cognition. I have to hurry with this. And Zeus used to turn some of the nymphs and things into a star. Now, if you got turned into a star, this was immortality. This was, you become immortal. You become a star. This is to be immortal. And this is what Marcus Aurelius was talking about, running with the stars, and what Seneca used to say about the best way to spend your time is becoming timeless. But anyway, that was grand. I often say to my soul, "You're a star. What are you? You're a star. You're a star." And then I didn't actually tie it in until the other day to Greek mythology. But anyway, the old souls. My star, the owner of the hostel rang me and said, it's your birthday today, and I said, no, my birthday is not till May. I'm a Taurus. My star sign is a Taurus. The bull. What's the ring in the nose? It's for leading the bull. I make it off this. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. It's for leading the bull.